Adam here from the Walser Automotive Group, and what I want to do today is take you on a test drive. So next to me here, I have the 2025 Hyundai Palisade. We'll look at the interior, exterior, some of the trim level specifics, then go for a spin around, see what it's like out on the road. Okay, so now we're behind the wheel of the 25 Palisade XRT, and there's a lot of pretty cool stuff in here. So there's actually 7 different trim levels when you're looking at the Palisade, so it can get a little confusing, so we'll kind of break down some stuff and then show you what's offered in the XRT. So let's talk about what's new for the 2025 Hyundai Palisade. Now, the big things would be on the XRT, they actually added the parking distance warning feature, which is now going to be standard on this model. They've also added the surround view camera. So we'll look at that here in a little bit, but when you pop it into reverse or there's a button down here that pulls it up, it is really cool. So one other change they made would be the SEL premium trim level. So what used to be an option for the SEL is now its own standalone trim level. It falls right between the XRT and the higher up limited. So that will give you a lot of pretty similar equipment to this model, but it's a pretty cool trim level to consider there. Other than that, no other big changes. So for now, let's put it in drive, we'll go for a spin around and talk about this particular one. Now, what powers all of the Hyundai Palisades is going to be a 3.8 liter 6-cylinder, and that's going to have an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now, where the difference is the front wheel drive or the optional all-wheel drive. Now, pretty much everything would come with the standard front wheel drive with the exception of the Calligraphy Night, which is going to be the highest tier trim level that will only come with the all-wheel drive. But this particular XRT model does get the optional all-wheel drive, or as Hyundai calls it, the H-Track. So up here, obviously, for the Minnesota winters, it's great for tackling those. Not only that, but obviously the XRT is a little bit more off-road focused. So if you're thinking about maybe running to the cabin, if you're into mountain biking or kayaking, find yourself maybe down a trail or dirt road, this one will be the best performing one for that. Now, the XRT does also add some different style on the exterior of this vehicle. As you notice, the white exterior with the black accents works very nicely and does look pretty cool. Now, this one will get the blacked out wheels with a little bit different wheel and tire setup for the XRT trim and all other trims depending on which one you're looking at. Now, up front on the XRT, this one's gonna have the full blacked out grille. It's got the black emblem, the black grille, the cool accents around the vehicle with kind of that lower trim that runs around the vehicle as well. It does give it a pretty aggressive appearance to the vehicle and one of my favorite looking Palisade models. Now on the exterior, this one has the roof rack rails that run up there, and this one also does have the crossbars attached, so that would be a factory option. It's pretty cool. Like I said, you got the mountain bikes, maybe you got the snowboards up there. It does free up some more room on the interior of this vehicle. Now, this one does have a power liftgate out back, so you can click the button on the key fob or click the button on the back there. It makes it really easy to load up the back of the vehicle if you're not hauling people around. So those seats are going to fold down in the 3rd row, and it's got a power folding 2nd row. Now, what's really cool is you work your way up through the lineup of the Palisade. You can actually do a fully power 3rd row that would go up and down with the press of a button. There's lots of different ways to configure these vehicles. And if you want even more storage, you can actually fold those 2nd row down flat. It's like having a cargo van with the amount of room back there. It's actually pretty crazy just how much space you get with everything folded down flat. Now, another thing that's pretty cool, that 3rd row, just shy of that when you open the liftgate, does have a little bit of added storage. So it's kind of hidden away underneath the floor, but if you want to keep something out of sight, just need a little bit of extra room, or like I said, maybe some of that camping gear, stuff like that, that is a pretty cool option. So now the Palisade can be configured in either a 7 and 8 passenger configuration. Most of these you're going to find are going to have the captain's chairs in the 2nd row, but the 3rd row is pretty great. So you can actually put people back there, so that would be 3 people in the back. The kiddos are going to be more than happy back there, and it does get a little tighter maybe for adults, but I found myself being able to crawl back there, and I had a little bit of knee space and headroom. But more importantly, the 2nd row is going to be really comfortable. Now, for that 2nd row, there's going to be a different climate zone back there, so you can adjust that to the rear passengers. Even as you work your way up through the trim levels, you can even add heated seats to that 2nd row, but there is also USB-C charging. So in the back of my seat, you can actually keep the kiddos busy back there by keeping all their devices charged up, and then you also just get a little plug down below in the middle. Now, the 2nd row, those seats are pretty comfortable as well. Like I said, they fold, they recline, you can move them, slide them. It's kind of like a Lego set, the amount of ways you can kind of build those up. But really, if you've got 4 adults in the vehicle, you're going to be extremely comfortable as well. That 2nd row also has the shades. Maybe you got the little kids back there, want to keep the sun out of their eyes. That is a pretty cool addition to the XRT model. Now, What about the driver's seat? It's always nice to care about everyone else and make sure they're comfortable, but these Hyundai Palisades are so nice. They're smooth out on the road, they're quiet, they're comfortable. I love the amount of power I get. I know a lot of manufacturers are kind of moving more towards the turbocharged engines, but just having a naturally aspirated V6, when I put my foot down, it fires up and moves along. I mean, I'm already going 45 miles an hour, and there's more than enough power there. And in return, it's still going to provide pretty decent fuel economy. The all-wheel drive does cut it back a little bit compared to the front-wheel drive, but I think for the trade-offs, like I said, if you're tackling the wintertime, rainy conditions, I think the XRT and just the all-wheel drive or H-Track in general is kind of worth maybe the few MPG sacrifice. So you're probably looking at about maybe mid to low 20s for fuel economy on the highway and kind of high teens, maybe low 20s in the city. So now back to the driver's seat. There's a lot of different interior or trim level options you can look at, obviously, but I like the XRT seats. They're really comfortable. The bolstering is really nice on these. It's got the black, kind of that H-Tex material that runs through, so it's not a real leather, more of a mock leather, but it's got the white piping on the seats. There's some kind of intricate stitching that runs through, and it does look very luxurious, and it's really comfortable. Not only that, but these are also heated seats as well for the driver and the passenger in the XRT model. Now, as you work your way up the lineup, you can even do the heated steering wheel, ventilated seats. There's a bunch of other equipment that you can add into these. Now, as I come up to the stop sign here, the auto start stop kicks on. That's always great, helping you save a little bit of gas. It's really quiet when you're in the road. I love when I come up to a stop, whether you got the radio going or anything else, that is making it pretty comfortable. Now, speaking of the radio on the infotainment screen, this one is going to have Apple CarPlay as well as Android Auto. Another thing, if you pair your phone with BlueLink, you can have Google Assistant or Amazon Alexa even in this vehicle. There's a ton of cool stuff that can do. Plus, the key fob also has a remote start feature. So it was only about 30 degrees this morning. I was able to fire the vehicle up, melt all the snow off the windshield. I love that feature that it comes standard on the vehicle. It's always great, whether it's cooling it down or heating it up, depending on the season. Now this one, like I said, with the Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, I've got Google, text messaging, Spotify, everything built right into the screen here. It makes it so safe and easy when I'm on the road. I'm not even thinking about checking my phone. Now, while it is a wired system in this particular model, there is wireless options available, so that is pretty nice as well. But there's a lot of safety in these vehicles. I know Hyundai makes some of the safest vehicles on the road, and they've got a ton of equipment as standard, whether it's the adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitoring, emergency braking. You can also go through and change the different settings right here on the steering wheel, or just standard in the infotainment screen. You can also adjust those. So if you don't want all those safety nannies on, you can easily turn those off. Now, another thing that's pretty cool is the digital gauge cluster here. So there's a little button on the right side of the steering wheel. I can go see kind of all my pertinent information. You can see the compass in there and the adaptive cruise control settings. So that is pretty nice as well. There's also a tow mode down here. So these vehicles can tow 5,000 pounds. So if you got the boat, you can get it to the lake for the weekend, maybe a utility trailer. That's also pretty nice. So just a few other things, there is some selectable drive modes in here, and like I said, that backup camera. So one of those changes for 25 was having that 360 view camera. I love that feature. I wish it was on every single vehicle. It makes parking so easy, especially if maybe the kids left some stuff in the driveway. You can't see what's going on. So here now I'll pull up to a parking spot, click it into reverse, and now I can see left, right, side to side. You can even do a 360 view. You can change those views on the screen as well, which makes it really easy. It's a pretty cool feature. And one of the other things I really like, some of the Hyundais come with even the blinker blind spot camera. So when you click the blinkers on, you can see what's going on left or right. So there's a lot of pretty cool safety or technology features in these Hyundais, as well as a great warranty at 10 years at 100,000 miles for the powertrain. But we have to touch on price. So starting price in the Palisade is going to be around that $38,000, depending on which trim level you're looking at, all the way up to kind of the mid to higher 50s. This particular one, the way it's loaded up, all-wheel drive, all the equipment added in, MSRP is around $47,000. So obviously there's a little bit of a discount going on now, so you might be a few grand back of that. But I mean, for the money, this gives you a lot of equipment. Not only that, but tons of cool style on the exterior. I mean, the best warranty you can get right now. There's so much to like about these Palisades. If you're looking for a family vehicle that gives you lots of room in the back, as well as great third row capabilities, and even the second row. If you've got a growing family and you're thinking maybe we might need that third row at some point, I think the Palisade is definitely one to add to the list to come out, take for a spin, and see what you think. Now that was just a quick look and drive at the 25 Hyundai Palisade XRT. Now if you have any other questions or you'd like to schedule a test drive, you can visit us online at walser.com or stop by either one of our Hyundai locations. We'd be more than happy to help. Thanks again for watching.